I usually start out my voice notes with the date, but I realized as I sat down that I don't know what day it is. It's either February 3rd, 4th, or 5th. I think it's the 4th. But then, like, who cares? I'm just at this point where who cares? I have quite a lot swirling around in my head today that I want to talk about. And one of them was about perfection. So I'm going to organize my collage papers. I got the IKEA carts that I was talking about in the last video, and I'm going to organize them based on color. And I have some other suitcases because I know not everything is going to fit into color categories. Organizing the collage papers have been, I don't want to say a challenge for me. They haven't been a challenge. I'm pretty organized. It's like, do I organize them based on size, which is what I've been doing? Do I organize them based on theme, which could work, but I feel like I pull more from color and shape than theme. Although sometimes I want like a specific thing, like my next painting is gonna have wings, lots of wings, angel wings, bird wings, that kind of thing. So now I'm setting aside wings. I'm gonna begin organizing, which has been on my list of things to do, things that I've wanted to do. And we'll go from there. So I said I wanted to talk about perfectionism because yesterday I was going through other voice notes that I had from a year ago. And I was talking about the same thing that I was talking about yesterday in my voice memos, which was about posting online. And a year ago, February, I was wanting to post on Substack. And I thought that it would be the right platform for me because I like writing and I do poetry. And I was like, oh, I can post, pictures and stuff too. But I'm not really on Substack. Like I keep hearing incredible things about it and people really love it. And not to say that it's not a good platform. Maybe for what I'm doing, it wasn't correct. And maybe that's why I had trouble moving forward with it. But it could have also been because of my perfectionism. And I don't want that to hold me back from things. And I was reading Anaïs Nin yesterday, one of her diaries. It's funny because I started reading her first diary and then her second diary, and then I felt like there were things missing. Like I couldn't really get to know her. And I was like, this is a diary. Why does it feel like I am separate? I'm not getting the whole woman. And so I did some research and realized that she cut out a lot of, she edited. I don't know where to put this. she edited a lot of her work, her diary, because her husband didn't want her talking about their like bohemian, scandalous life. But then when she died, it was in her estate to publish parts of the diary that she had omitted. And so then I was like, oh wow, this makes so much sense. And I went back, and so I looked up the diaries that were published after she died, and there's a whole other section of diaries. And so I bought Henry and June, which was correlated to the same years as her first diary. And I started that yesterday. And already it just feels like so much more real. Not to say that her other stuff isn't real, it's just, it was like I knew that she was telling me things, but there were a lot that was going unsaid. There were a lot of things going unsaid. I think this one should be black, and this one should be red. Oh, and I'm out of trays already. This one's a pattern, but a red pattern, so. So in Henry and June, she says something along the lines of she's done with perfectionism, she's over it, because she's in process. And you can't be both, I guess. That's my addition. You can't be both, because you can't be experimenting and exploring and changing if you're constantly reaching for perfectionism. And I'm just talking to myself, obviously. I feel like I've had perfectionism my whole life. When I was younger, when we would make CDs, I'm dating myself, but yeah, I would burn CDs, and then I would write out the titles in order of the songs, because I wanted to know, what was on the CDs. And I would do it in gel pen. I loved gel pen. I loved different colors of gel pen. And I would write it out maybe 5 or 6 times. Like I would get so far and then make a mistake, like spell something wrong, or I didn't like the way that a specific letter was written, and I would crumple it up and start over. And so I was wondering if my procrastination on posting my voice notes and my videos have to do with perfectionism. There's probably a little bit, for sure. The concept of being in process, I really liked that, because it's like nothing's ever finished. Nothing's ever started. It's just always in motion. And when I view it that way, it feels lighter. Because I'm always in motion, and I'm always telling myself, like, okay, it's time to start. Meanwhile, I've already started, I just haven't shared it. And then another thing that I realized when I was out on my walks with the dogs, multiple walks because they're so big and I can't walk them together, so I walk them individually. and I was talking but not recording, which was, freeing in and of itself. These are words written. Go there. And I realized, I was trying to get to the root of why I'm not posting. And I don't think it's a fear of being seen. Because when I went down that road, I didn't really come across, I didn't feel anything. Oh, pink. Maybe that'll go with red. So I came across this perfectionism thing, and I realized it has to do with a fear of taking up space and not feeling like I deserve to take up space, like I deserve to be on the internet. What? So this is where it's helpful for me to speak, because things come out, and I realize, oh, I didn't even know that that's what I was feeling. And yesterday was a strange day. Just checking to make sure I'm still recording. Yeah, the energies yesterday were very weird. And saved a lot of black and white images, which is cool. I don't normally work in black and white. I wonder if I could start. Of course I could start. I wonder if I want to. I'll keep them for a later time, and then I'll be so grateful that I have them. Oh yeah, the black and white images. So it's a feeling of I don't feel worthy of taking up space. And I think there's certain words that were triggering for me, not triggering, but they stir up the emotions. Content, posting, sharing, even the word sharing, I was like, oh, this is making me feel anxious. And so I started thinking of it. I was like, when did it feel good to be on the internet? I think it was pre-social media, or just the beginning of social media, when everybody had, not everybody, but people online had blogs, and they had Tumblr, and even MySpace was sort of a blog. And oh, this one goes over here. I'm all confused with my piles. That's writing. This is, I don't know what to do with. But where did my other pile go? Oh well. Funny, eh? I don't know what to do. So the internet felt good to me. Being online felt good when everybody had blogs, and I loved when different blogs had, different background colors and fonts. Like, people were were playing with fonts and styles, and some of them had newspaper columns, and some of them had, you know, photos like down the side, another column of photos, but they were all different, and I really loved seeing people experimenting with their like their personalities shining on their blogs, because it was like you visited their blog and it was a space. It was their space. Like a room or a house. And so when I started thinking of it like that, I was feeling better about it. And I reframed it, so instead of posting or sharing, I will be decorating my room, my online room. And it doesn't matter if people see it, doesn't matter how many views I have. I'm doing it for me, and because when I speak, I gain clarity. Is this red? This one was supposed to be red. Why do I have red here? I'm all confused. Red. Red. Okay. Yeah, that could be red too. So I guess we'll do beige. That one's beige. And black. We'll do black. Beige? Yeah. Red, beige, blue, black. Black and white. I think that works. Oh, and then I have writing. This says, the birth of a wild beast, but I saw the birth of a sexy beast. That's the same. That's cool. I love when I have the same images so I can use repetition. Sometimes I think that I could take photos and print things out at Staples so that I can have repetition, but then I never actually do that. Go through with that. Oh, there's a wing. There's an angel wing. That's red. I feel like this one is for the concept board. Put that aside. I put up cork on the wall over there. So I'm going to start a concept board in the next couple days. I had to buy some more cork because it actually wasn't enough. I thought I want a bigger board. But then it comes in a roll, so I have to lay it flat and put books on it so that it flattens itself out. I don't know another way of doing that. Like a more efficient way, I guess I could say. I'm already feeling better just sitting and talking, organizing. I'm feeling good today. I am. Much better than yesterday. I think the energies were chaotic yesterday and unsettling, and I had Starbucks coffee in the morning, which I don't normally drink Starbucks, but we were given it as a gift. And so I thought, oh, free coffee, yeah, I'll try this. And I just felt very anxious all day. It's pretty black. I don't know if it was a Starbucks coffee, but I also don't know that it wasn't. Why would I save this? It's a man's head in black and white, and he has a pipe. And I cut it out very cleanly. I'll make it onto something, I guess. Usually I use women in my work because I feel like every image I come across of a woman is so beautiful, and maybe I see myself in the women. Now this is gold, and like, do I start a new pile for metals? I could do that. I think I'm gonna need another cart, another IKEA cart. Okay, we'll do metals over there. I just had a thought too, like maybe this is hindering my process. Like, I feel like organizing the materials is helping or will help, because sometimes, a lot of time, like, I want red or blue or whatever, but I think part of my process is so subconscious, and I just go to the suitcase and rifle through it and grab what speaks to me. We'll try it. I like the idea of being more organized, so we'll give it a try. Blue. So when I realized that I've been speaking about the same thing a year ago, I realized it's time. It's time to just go for it. It's time to post and to help myself feel safe doing that in whatever way that I can. And I guess my story has been that it needs to be polished or finished, like a beginning, a middle, an end. There has to be a subplot, there has to be a lesson. Like, it doesn't need any of that. I'm not teaching. I'm literally just talking to myself because it helps me. So this is why I'm stumped, because I love the image, but it has red, blue, burgundy, and gold. So what category does it go in? It's like, well, have to kind of think like, what will I use it for? And a lot of the time, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I saved this. JD and I get these bamboo charcoal incense from Milk in Toronto, and they smell so good. I wonder if I can still smell it. No, there's no smell in the box. But I was looking at the box and realizing how beautiful it was. The color of the gray and the logo, and so I was gonna keep this. This will go into I have a box up here for garbage collage. Not to say it's garbage, but it's not garbage to me. I could definitely see myself being a hoarder or a pack rat. This is a piece of cork that came off of my new bulletin board, and I was like, ooh, that would make good texture. So now I need an area for texture stuff too, which I know what I have, but it's kind of all over the place. Like I have fabrics and ribbon. Like this is ribbon from Christmas. It was a big bow, and I loved the metallic. So I deconstructed the bow, and here we are. Now I don't know what to do with it. It'll get used. That's the thing. It's like, it'll get used, and if it doesn't get used in a couple years or a year, I'll pitch it. I don't like throwing things away if I don't have to. Yeah, I'm wondering if me procrastinating posting is really just a lack of self-confidence. I was listening to some of my voice memos from 2-3 years ago, and my voice has changed. It's changed a lot since. And I think I would chalk that up to a few things. JD for sure. He's always championing me and building me up in a way that nobody else ever has. And I'm so grateful to him for that. And also clothes, which sounds superficial, but I spent last year really figuring out what my style was by thrifting a lot. And hoping to sell some of the clothes. I sold some pre-Christmas, and then we have another market coming up in April in the big event space upstairs, and the vintage market. So I'm going to sell some clothes there too, but my point is that trying on different clothes and playing with clothes, it felt like dress up again, like when I was a kid. And I don't think I really allowed myself that because it felt self-indulgent. And I still, even talking about it now, I feel like I have to justify like why I like clothes and why I like, playing with clothes, and I don't need to justify it. Oh, Angel wings. Okay, I'll set that aside. Yeah, I don't need to justify it. But part of me still feels like I have to, I guess. Because I was made to feel, I wasn't made to feel. That is a victim statement. Growing up, I felt guilty for spending money on anything. It wasn't just clothing, it was food, it was bills, anything, really. I felt guilty for that. Oh, green. I don't have a green pile, but I have a green tray. So we'll start a new pile. So last year was really an experiment to undo a lot of the beliefs that I had around money, spending money, making money. And I did it through thrift shopping. And it just sounds so abstract, and looking back, like, I don't think I knew what I was doing at the time, but I've reflected on it. JD and I have talked about it since. And it was like, you know, every time we got to the cash, it was flexing the muscle, like, I can afford this, calming my nervous system, I have the money, it's okay. And every time I did that, sometimes it felt easier, and other times it was very challenging. But it just got easier and easier. And then I had all these beautiful clothes to show for it, and I was playing with outfits and feeling really good in my body and good about myself. And the clothes that I have now they feel like me, where I don't think, yeah, they didn't feel like me before. I was wearing clothes that were too big for me, so I was kind of hiding. I wasn't kind of hiding, I was hiding. And yeah, so all that to say, I don't know where this one goes, but that's my I don't know pile. All that to say is, like, it really helped my self-esteem. And I would totally recommend it to anybody who likes shopping, who you know, feels guilty anytime that they shop or spend money, or I would recommend it, especially thrift shopping, because, like, you can get things for $5, $10. It's like, you can't even get stuff at the dollar store for that anymore. And, you know, you start talking about telling yourself, like, oh, I'm doing a good thing because I'm saving this from the landfill and I'm not buying it brand new. Like, this scarf that I'm wearing, it's silk, made in Italy. It cost me $5. And I learned a lot about clothes. Like, I learned about fit, I learned about style, I learned about color. I already knew a lot about fabric quality, but I learned more about fabric quality. It's like I honed that knowledge. And I don't know how I do know how I got talking about this. I was talking about self-esteem. So when I looked back and I was like, you know, how much money have I spent? Like, I haven't looked at the receipts yet, which I'll do during tax season, but I'm not even afraid to do that anymore. There was a time when I was. But, you know, if I was like, if I've spent even, let's say it's like an astronomical number, like $20,000, which, like, no way have I spent that much. But even if I spent that much last year on clothes, I would spend that again for the level of confidence that I've gained. Because you can't buy that. You can't buy the feeling that comes with, like, feeling good in your body. You can't buy that. And so it's like, okay, if I spent $10,000 to feel good in my body and to have confidence and to love myself deeper, that's a great investment that is just going to grow. It's just going to keep growing as I get older, because you can't, there's no going backwards. There's only going forwards. It's like compound interest. So I'm just like, the ball is rolling now. And yeah, I also have like a wicked wardrobe, which I love. It's like going shopping in my closet every day. I love getting dressed every day. It's so fun. And it's so fun to plan for the weather and plan for whatever you're doing that day, and to just take the time in the morning to really feel my best. I think that's what I love so much. I have a lot of blue images. I don't feel like I use blue a lot. Ooh, here are metals. Okay. We will add these to the metal pile. The metal pile. So I've noticed a difference in my voice since last year. And I think going back to work had something to do with that too. I faced my fear and discovered, you know, that I was good at my job and in demand, and that helps with confidence too. I don't know where to put these. If I even want to collage with these. They're Matisse paintings. Oh. Move my hair out of the way. I'm always hesitant to use other artists' work in my collage process. I don't want it to be recognizable. But, you know, we all take inspiration from everywhere. It is a sensitive topic, and there are gray areas. The thing is with my collages, like, I cut them up and rearrange them and layer over top of them and paint on them, and at the end of the day, it just informs the painting. It's not me taking somebody else's work and trying to pass it off as my own. I read a book in my early 20s called Steal Like an Artist, It's a pretty famous book. I guess this would be green. Green, blue, red, I guess. Actually, this one I'm going to put up on the concept board. I really like that. I love Matisse's work. Oh, that's fun. Maybe I'll put that one up on the concept board. So in Steal Like an Artist, he talks about, really researching and getting to know other artists' work, especially dead artists. That's cool. And how there are no new ideas. Everything is built from something that came before it. Everything. And maybe other people might have a different opinion than me on that, and that's okay. It's one of the great things about being human and being on this plane is that we all have different experiences and different opinions. It's like we're all living in our own universe. So that would be black and this one would be beige. And that one is just ripped. Put that in there. I decided a little over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, that I was never going to make myself wrong for anything. Because I used to do that a lot. I would beat myself up for, saying something wrong or doing something that somebody didn't agree with or called me out on, or, the amount of times that somebody called me out on something was so minuscule. It was always me. It always came from me. I was the one who was judging myself. I was saying, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Like after the fact, I would go home and go over the conversation in my head and oh, I wish I didn't say that. Or I shouldn't have said that. Or how did that person feel when I said that? And it's all projection. Like after doing Byron Katie's work, I realized you can't prove anything, especially about other people. And I think so often we think we know what somebody's thinking or feeling, but we really don't, unless they tell us. And so I decided, I guess that's beige, I don't know. I decided that I was not ever going to be wrong for something. I was never going to make myself wrong. It was, I was doing the best I could with the knowledge that I had at the time. And that, to me, was so freeing once I accepted that new way of thinking. And it allowed me to be more gentle with myself and open up more and try new things. Like when I realized like, oh, I'm never wrong, that means that I can try anything I want, as long as it's not harming another person, physically harming them. But I would never do that anyway, so it reminds me, just popped into my head. I went to Canmore? I can't remember the name of the lake. I think it was Canmore, with my friend Nicole in 2022. I think it was 2022. And God, I'll have to ask her what lake it was, the name of the lake, because I can't remember. There was a big hotel there that was on the water, and the lake was like turquoise, the glacier color, like so cold. And I was really into natural pigments at that time. Like I was studying how to make natural pigments, and like out of rocks, and they call them ochres. And basically you find like a specific rock that has pigment in it, and you grind it, and you put it in a mortar and pestle and like grind it into a fine powder, and then you put it through water and a sieve, and it's a process, but eventually you get pigment, and you mix it with a binder like egg whites or honey, or a lot of artists even use saliva. Apparently saliva is a really good binder, and then it'll stick to the paper. So I was really into natural pigments at that time, and it was just this like field landscape of rocks next to the water, between the water and the forest. And I was in heaven. I was collecting rocks. I was, it didn't matter that we had walked all the way around and I would have to walk all the way back with all my rocks. I was determined. But the way that you test the rock to see if it is a pigment rock, because some of them are not, some of them are too hard, and the way that you test it is you rub it on another rock, and if the color comes off and it's kind of like clay-like or chalky-like, then you know that it's a pigment rock. But if you scrape it and it shows up white, it's not a pigment rock. So I'm sure there are other ways to tell, but that was the way that I learned, and it always worked for me. So here I was, testing rocks, scraping them on other rocks. And it was just like little stones and trying to find pigment rocks. And this woman came up to me and started yelling at me for hurting the rocks. like telling me I shouldn't be doing that, and I just looked at her and I was like, but you don't even know what I'm doing. And she kind of like walked away with her tail between her legs, because I think she expected me to kind of roll over and take her bullying or whatever it was she was doing. And I don't do that. So yeah, that story came to me because I was talking about not judging myself, and how we all have our own unique views on things and experiences, and we all have different objectives and values and things that we're trying to do in this life that other people have no idea about, and to not judge. And once I stopped judging myself and making myself wrong, I stopped judging other people too for the most part. Sometimes I still work on that, I guess, because I'm still working on not judging myself. It's like an ongoing process because it's a lifetime of undoing a habit. Undoing a lifetime habit. That's what I meant to say. These are all really beautiful greens. I think I'll put these in the green pile. Oh, here's more green. That's a great green. (1966). I was reading one of these yesterday because I was going through it, and it was talking about Hans Hofmann and how he lives in I think it was Princetown, just outside of New York, and how he just retired from teaching. And I was like, Hans Hofmann is still alive? And then I remembered that it was a magazine from, I think it was the 60s. But it's funny because we think, at least I do, I'm like, oh, all these incredible painters, the abstract expressionists that I've read about and learned about and love, it feels like they're so far in the past because they're so idolized, but they're not that far in the past. Like some of them died in the 90s, I think. Wild. I saw a post once where somebody was like, Picasso died in the 80s. No, I actually don't know when Picasso died, but it was about Picasso. And she's like, everything I know about art and art history has gone out the window. Because we think that they're, hundreds of years old. But what's crazy is, as I'm reading the diary of Anaïs Nin, she's writing in the 30s, 1930s, and that was almost 100 years ago. What? Life doesn't seem to be all that much different. I just think people were connecting more with each other, going out more. There's less distraction, but I feel like we're getting back to that. It's almost like the internet's become kind of boring and people are coming back to reality. Oh, that's cool. Would that be a medal? Yeah, I'll put it with the medals. It's kind of green. Blue. We're getting there. We're getting there. I actually have another suitcase, same size. It's just as full, but it looks like there are a couple books in there too, so probably not gonna take me as long, but it might. And I'm okay with that. I love going through my papers to see what I have, especially when I'm in between projects. And I don't know if I would say I'm in between, because I painted this big one the other night with a palette that I needed to use up, because I used the Stay Wet palettes and it was starting to get kind of moldy, because they last a long time. Like the Stay Wet palettes make acrylic last weeks. It's like oil paints with the Stay Wet palette. But yeah, sometimes you can get like mold in them. So when that happens, I scrape the mold off and mix the paint with medium and water, and then it becomes like a wash, and I just use up the palette, which some people might think is gross, but I don't. Oh, these are my Egyptian aliens that I found the other day. I'm also saving things because I'm taking a repeat pattern course next week. And I've been into repeat patterns for a while, years, and just never really did it. Like I tried it, but I feel like now that I have more of my own style, and I know that I like working with paper and I gravitate towards shapes, I feel like I could make some really awesome repeat patterns. So I'm also saving things where I'm like, ooh, that's a good shape. That's a good shape. And then I'll cut out the shape and see where it goes from there. But I have a few ideas on the go right now, which is really nice. I think it's happening, it's come about because I'm so relaxed and my days have been really slow. Almost to the point of boredom. Like the last 2 days, I was at home with the dogs, and as my grandma says, just puttering. I was just puttering around and, unloading the dishwasher and doing laundry and walking the dogs and reading a book. And I talked to Nicole yesterday. And so it just like everyday things that brought me back to life and make me feel human again. It helps, I think it really helps my nervous system to not feel rushed. And that's when the ideas can come, especially when I self-project. But I need to be relaxed and in my body in order for my authority to activate. I think that's the secret. Otherwise, it's hard for me to really connect with my voice or to allow the words that need to come out to come out. I never want it to feel like performance. I always want it to be for me. And like what can I get out of it? Because my voice is not for anybody else, it's just for me. And that's what I have to keep coming back to again and again, reminding myself of that. Oh, these are stunning. Beautiful, beautiful images. I'm feeling really good about everything I've spoken about today. So I'm going to let it rest, and it's really cool. Wow. Yeah, I think I'm done speaking for the day, and I also have to check my phone. I don't know how long it's been that I've been speaking, but I have to pick JD up from work later, so I want to make sure that I don't miss his text. Like, I'm just sitting here talking, sorting papers, la-di-da-di-da. And he's like, I texted you 3 hours ago. He wouldn't even be upset, he would laugh. It would be me that would be upset, like, oh, I can't believe I did that. He'd be like, ah, oh, women. Just flowing. I just flow all over the place. It's one of the things I love about myself. You know, I have structure, but I also allow myself to go outside of that structure. And maybe one day I'll feel safe enough to do it even more. Like, maybe one day I won't feel like I need to organize papers. I think I talked about this in my last video. Like, just having a studio so big that I can have multiple canvases laid out on the floor and just go between them. Like, I work on this one, and then I work on this one, and then I work on this one, and then all the papers that I'm using are just scattered around. That'd be kind of cool. And then I could, instead of cleaning up, which takes a lot of time and energy. Like, why do I do it? I do it because it makes me feel good in the moment. And I also have limited space, so it's like a reset. But to, you know, finish a painting, I say that because I never know when they're going to be finished. One day it's just like, oh, it's done. And even still, some paintings I want to go back to from years ago. It's like, oh, I could work more on that one. They're always in process. See, I brought it back. God. But yeah, I could finish, like, when it's finished, the painting is finished, I can just bring another, like, a blank canvas over, set it down in between all the papers, and start over. And then I never have to, like, store stuff. I don't know. It's fun to think about the future and how could I work better? How could I create an environment and systems that allow me to tap into my most creative self, which is what I feel like I'm always trying to do. I want to commune with God. That's really what it feels like when I'm working and I'm in a flow state. I am just the worker bee. I am the vessel. And if I show up and give myself permission and don't make myself wrong for anything, it just seems to flow easier. I think that's a good place to stop.